Hey guys, welcome back. I am back from that Yokohama 1/1 scale Gundam exhibition, and my first review after coming back is going to be another RX-78. No, it is not the perfect grade. I am still working on that one, but as you can imagine, it is a bit more complex, a bit more intricate, so we'll be taking a look at that one soon. However, as I have the first part, the inner frame is... I think that is pretty much done after the phase 2, so I'll be doing a separate review, I think, for phase 2, as long as they let me do that. But today, that's not what we're taking a look at or what we're talking about. Today, we are talking about the other RX-78 that came in just last week that I know everybody out there is excited to see. It is none other than the first, this is the actual first retail release, standard retail release, here in Japan at least, of the new entry grade RX-78-2. So kind of interesting to mention that this is the very first retail release edition of this kit, because this is actually the 5th unique version of this kit that I own. So yes, as you can see, standing behind this guy on the left and the right there are the 2 kits that came with those Christmas buckets that I reviewed just last month, I think it was. And then before that, we had 2 unique releases that were part of that 7-Eleven Omikuji campaign. And then even before that, there was a kind of a preview version of this kit that was released at the Gundam base, or the Gundam base exclusive there in Tokyo and the Fukuoka stores. So, which I bought online because I couldn't go to this whole store during this whole corona thing that's going on. But yeah, finally there is a version of this kit that you can just walk into a regular old store and just buy on the shelf. Now, speaking of walking into a store and buying off the shelf, during this last weekend, I went to a electronics store here in Japan called Yamada Denki, which is one of the places, before I started working at HobbyLink Japan, one of the places I used to go all the time to buy my Gundam kits. And I just happened to be in there for something completely unrelated, and I saw... well, I almost saw this kit because, yeah, they sell a lot of Gunpla there at this electronics store. They had the empty boxes for these things there. They were all sold out. They had 2 boxes. I don't remember how many kits come in each box. It's something crazy like 10 kits per box, but this was like on a Sunday, so it had only been released the day before on Saturday. They were completely gone. So this thing is surprisingly quite popular, it seems. Part of the reason for that is probably the cost. This thing is extremely inexpensive. I don't remember the cost of it on our site. I believe it is less than 1,000 yen, so it is quite cheap. And then this specific version that they have released here, it comes in this plastic bag, as you can see on the back there. It's not actually released in a plastic box or in a paper box like any other normal Gunpla kit. This is in just a standard plastic bag, which is something new, something different, something unique for Bandai and Gunpla. So I saw this plastic bag earlier in the 2 kits for that 7-Eleven Omikuji deal. Those 2 entry grade kits were also released in this plastic bag. At the time, I mentioned that was something kind of interesting, but I guess they're continuing on with it for these entry grades here. So yeah, I guess it's 500 yen, only 500 yen on our site. That would be, if you go to a lot of bars here in Japan, they have this like 1 coin type thing where they have a 500 yen coin here in Japan that you can just buy a drink for 500 yen. It's that same kind of deal. You just pick this thing up for as little as 500 yen. That's about $5. Actually, with conversion rate, it's maybe a little bit less than $5, but that is quite cheap. Just 500 yen for this new high-tech kit, entry grade kit from Bandai Hobby. Sure, those old not the entry grade, but those 2, what are they called? First grade kits? I think they're called first grade kits that were released back in 1998, which I'll still be reviewing at some point here on the channel. Those things are still much cheaper, but you do not get all of this beautiful color, these parts molded in different colors. Nowhere near as good of articulation as what you get on this entry grade. So this is definitely a much better buy at just 500 yen. And even here on the package, it says light package version. So Yep, there you have it. So the version that I originally bought from the Gundam store, I'm hoping that will become a regular release at some point in the future as well. So one thing about this light package version, here we're looking at the back of the bag here, and it's got some nice images. And it's showing off some of the articulation that it can do there. I took a little more of a look at the articulation and whatnot for this kit back when I reviewed the 2 kits for the bucket, so I might not be going over everything again for this guy. So, but well, yeah, one of the reasons this guy is kind of so cheap and why it is called a light package version is that this guy, as you can see here, the two on the left, one on the left and the right, they have a gun and they have a shield, but the one here in front of us, there is no gun. There is no shield. This is what you're seeing here rotating around on the table. This is what you get. You just get the main mobile suit by himself. He does still have the beam saber handles there on his back, but there is no actual clear beam sabers that come with this kit. You only get the handles, so it is what it is. But yeah, for 500 yen, it is kind of hard to complain about that price. That is quite great. This is a perfect kind of stocking stuffer that you can just kind of it's like good, maybe like a first good like intro to Gunpla. So of course, being a entry grade, that's kind of the goal for this kit. So somebody that has never done one of these kits before and maybe they're kind of slightly interested, this is the perfect kind of kit to buy for those people and just give it to them as a present for only 500 yen. So like every other entry grade kit, this kit also does not require the use of nippers to remove the parts from the sprues. You can just use your hands to just pull the parts right off. Of course, I still use nippers just to try to get those nub marks as clean as possible. So you can still do it if you really want, but you don't have to. And then as you can see, there are absolutely 0 stickers on this kit. Everything you see, every color you see on this kit is a plastic piece sandwiched together. So you get the little V there in the down there on the waist, which was something I was quite impressed about when I was reviewing this kit originally. And then you can see up there in the face, the eyes, that red underneath his eyes, as well as the yellow for the eyes. That is all plastic. That is all plastic pieces just sandwiched together, no stickers at all. That is quite beautiful. It's interesting to see what they can do as their technology gets better there at Bandai Hobby. So quite good, I have to say, as in terms of that. And then also there was one other thing on the back of this package here. It does mention, oh wait, no, that wasn't the package that I saw. That, hold on, that was the instruction manual. So this kit does still come with a full-on paper instruction manual here, and it is showing another nice thing is they kind of got like the different parts for the different parts of the body, like molded into different sections. So you can keep like the waist parts are all in kind of one section together, the head parts are all in one section together. That's always something kind of nice to see. And of course, this is like Bandai Hobby recently does. This has both the Japanese text as well as English on it as well. So if you can't read Japanese, don't worry, they have English pretty much everywhere on here. Where was it? Here we go. So if you fold this thing open in the center, it kind of has like an introduction. Learn, make, and play with Gundam to its limits there. It mentions at the top, it's got kind of a bit of history about the Gunpla, or about the Gundam. It got a little bit of history about the Gunpla itself. And here's what I was originally thinking about here. So it mentions also that you can take Gundam markers, as we have shown on the show before, and then you can kind of color in those holes and the panel lines to make it look just a little bit better. So you can go crazy with that little advertisement for HG kits if you want to step up your game and make it a little bit, go for something a little bit more difficult, suggesting HG kit. We got some suggestions for other entry grade kits. To be honest with you though, this entry grade is kind of really nothing at all like these other earlier entry grades we took a look at. These things were just mostly fixed posed and yeah, just really super simple kits that not a whole lot to them. Some of them even did have stickers. This guy's actually kind of, I find it a bit closer to an HG kit, to be honest with you guys, than an entry grade because of the amount of articulation that this guy has and the amount of color separation on it. It is good. It is maybe a bit better than even some of the earlier HG kits, so that's something quite interesting to say. Definitely in terms of color separation, this guy is much better than some of those early HG kits. So actually not a whole lot of HG kits give you this little yellow V part there on that waist. It's only a few. I think the Beyond Global, I think, had that, and of course the real grade. So pretty decent articulation for this guy too, so that is not bad at all. So it's a really good kit. Is definitely worth 500 yen, I have to say. Another thing to mention, this guy is super stiff because there are no pulley cap parts in this kit at all. Everything is just plastic, so he is nicely stiff, so he'll be able to hold his poses for a very long time, I think. So quite a great kit, definitely worth it for 500 yen. All right, so I also mentioned that we just got back from that 1/1 scale Gundam thing down there in Yokohama. Be sure to check out that video as well on our channel. If you have not watched it, it's something quite interesting to see. So that was another thing. We're just kind of gonna show off a little bit some of the cool swag that we got when we were down there, just to add something a little bit extra for this video. So one of the, if you were to visit that 1/1 scale Gundam thing, if you're one of the first, I don't know how many of these things they'll be able to give away, but if the very first few visitors for this thing are given this free 1/200 scale kit, Gunpla kit of the RX-78. So 1/200 scale. We don't see many 1/200 scale kits. I think that might be the same scale as those old cup of noodle, the ramen. There's like a little free Gundam little miniature free Gundam kit that would come with some of those cup of noodles back in the day. It's kind of maybe the same scale as those guys, but it also comes with a little like base behind him, which looks kind of quite cool. So this is interesting to see here. And as you can tell, this thing is actually not just like a single color type of thing. This is actually molded in different kind of colors. So you actually have blue for the chest pieces there, as well as the vents are actually molded in yellow. So that's kind of quite cool to see. We got some for the waist parts there, they actually got some yellow going on here. We've got some red and whites for the head pieces, some more reds for the chest there, and then for the feet. So even this little miniature 1/200 scale kit, they did a decent job for having parts molded in different kind of colors there. And look at the details for the panel lines on this little miniature kit. So that is something quite cool to see, I have to say. And then the beam sabers are, of course, hard molded onto the backpack, so you won't be able to remove those guys. And there's the holes for those yellow pieces that are going to be sandwiched in there for that waist part. But that looks quite cool, don't you say? This is going to be a cool looking little kit to put together. And one of the other things, actually, this is one that Dave bought here. Dave bought this guy, and I think I don't know, Dave's never done an RX-78 review for our channel. I know I've been hogging all the RX-78s on our channel, but I think maybe Dave wants to have a crack at one. And he actually went ahead and he bought this event exclusive. It's hard to get the whole thing on the camera here for you guys because it's a big box and I had it zoomed in so you guys can see that entry grade earlier. But yeah, this is going to be a cool one to look at. So this kit also has the dock. It comes with the entire dock for this Gundam event thing. Here, let's look at this side of the box. So there you can kind of see a bit better, so you can maybe mimic some of the poses, like when it takes its step out at the top of the hour, it kind of moves its leg, it takes a step out, and it kneels down at one point during the animation too, and then it kind of does reach up. Of course, this guy doesn't actually have a gun down there in Yokohama, but he does reach his hand up at one point at the very end of that walking out animation there. So that's kind of cool to see. You can do like a mimic of it, and then there's just showing this if you just wanted to pose it like standard with his shield and his gun. So quite an interesting kit. We'll be looking forward to seeing this guy put together. All right, and with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you guys out there very much for watching. Please be sure to stay tuned. I'll have a video up for the inner frame for that perfect grade kit at some point here in the future. I do hope so. Be sure to stay tuned from that. And once again, my name is Todd. We're brought to you from HobbyLink Japan, HLJ.com. Say hello to Pikachu. He's waving at you guys. Hello, Pikachu. Goodbye.